Hi, I'm live. It's Monday morning, almost 9 o'clock, and I still have to put on my real clothes and do errands. But I wanted to touch base really quickly about what I know or remember or don't know, and want to share some love, light, peace, and ease. And I could be totally wrong. Some of the things that I'll repeat, I don't believe those people are wrong, but again, anytime you never want to pay attention to anything I say, it's okay. It's not hurtful to me. It's more that I'm sharing information because my channel is more, our next new world of 2021 that we're going into, how to be more expansive. And even you're helping me remind me of all this that I say, and getting on board with energy, frequency, and vibration and stuff. And, there are things I always thought, and they're going to, you think a lot of things and they feel really right for you, but they're sort of in the back. And then you try to go for goals. And sometimes you miss your dream or you're close to it or you take a back seat. Things happen. I think mostly I've been back in Massachusetts to, I think, to heal some relationships and even in myself just have like a self-acceptance of where I'm at. And I wish that those will be solid and helpful words to you because you're never off your path. You're always on your path. You're never behind your eight ball really or not going to attain your goals. It's just us adjusting and figuring out ourselves in a sense, our alignment and what piece are we not allowing into the brain programming into our heart to radiate out. So as some of you may know, we are going through what is essentially a spiritual battle of good and evil. We're playing out a matrix. We're playing out of the program of the Matrix, which if you ever see the first movie, The Matrix, I believe it will give you I understand that's some sci-fi and supernatural, but you are from a supernatural consciousness, and two, it gives you an idea of what's really, really real. This brings up something. I'm not even cute yet, but I wanted to show up. Um, so this brings me. I'm reminded last night, but I wanted to mostly talk with you about anyway. So I'll mention it briefly. There was episodes in different TV movies. This is going to take longer than I wanted to. So, okay, so we'll take a little longer, but I'll give it to you. So, some of us growing up, we did like to watch TV and we did like to watch certain programs because they call to our heart and our spirit or our creativity or our interest or pulled us in. And sometimes some of those might have they had a twist in them. They almost brought us into horror. So I want to just gently put a feather in your cap about certain programs you may not be aware of, like the Twilight Zone, like Night Gallery. Then there was a Night Gallery supernatural series about a reporter trying to do real work where no one believed him, and all these supernatural, unbelievable, gothic or in current times were happening, but his editor was always screaming at him for the facts. And sometimes it later was related to actually what he was working on, but they were all kind of had a supernatural, sometimes gruesome component of reality or non-reality, but it led to him solving a case sometimes. But it was all through his direct wanting to find the truth of reporting. Okay, but then there are these other episodes I remember as a child where Twilight Zone and or Night Gallery, it was some, just drew you in the creativity, the supernatural. Let's say you were interested in that kind of a thing, and it had then present day science and other. And there were just, I remember brief snippets, like one was a snippet where this wife kept getting a phone call, and it was either nobody and or her husband's voice. It was either nobody and or her husband's voice. And later, and it was a little eerie, but at first I think no one believed her. And then in the end, you saw that at the graveyard there was a telephone wire that had been attached to fell. The wires of the telephone pole came down, and a wire was fallen and in the ground over the husband's grave. Now, this to me is saying we all have a telephone line to our invisible helpers, people who have passed the veil is thin, and we all have a direct line to the divine to get answers. We just need to be on that frequency where, yeah, we get the call, or we want to have that interest in it comes in, but it can be very subtle. At first, it seems like no one's there, but they're around us. And then there was this real eerie one about a couple waking up after a party, and they woke up, they didn't know where they were. They just, what a party and their drive, and then they remember anything. And they were getting freaked out because there was no one in the neighborhood and no one was around. And where were they? And later, briefly, toward the end, you see a young girl bending over a dollhouse and a dad. And these people have been abducted by giants, and they're in a reality, non-reality, where there is like they're little tiny people, and their captors are their giants, which is very interesting because people have talked about abductions of the bad ETs, and also this is kind of like a matrix, and how do you get out? And also our thoughts create our reality, and who we're imprisoned by. And then there was another eerie thing where this man, he would go into a museum, and he wanted to escape his past. And he saw a beautiful picture of a lake and serene, and he could envision himself being, he wanted to feel peace and calm again. And later it came out that this man had some horrible Nazi war crimes that he was involved in. Something happened, and he was escaping his persecutors because of his crimes and getting found out and getting targeted. But he got into the museum somehow, and it was dark, but he went to the place where he thought the picture was, and he prayed to God to get in the picture and be freed by his captors so he could escape them. Well, when the police came to arrest him, to bring him to trial, they don't find him. And what they hear is moaning, and someone suffering. And the picture had been replaced of a man on a cross being burned by fire. And there he had sealed his request for help for eternity. Now, that was like it. I remember seeing that when I was younger, and I didn't expect this to happen. So you have to understand, like, I watched, and what we're being taught is be careful how you pray, what you pray for, because you manifest what you're asking for. And of course, it was teaching about the wheel of karma, which I understand during this time of 2021, there will be more no wheel of karma, because the wheel of karma was created by the dark side, where we would have to keep coming back to perpetuate this particular matrix that we're a part of. And that's a whole nother talk. I'm trying to think if there was, and like one last thing I'll leave you with, and there's many others, but one last thing of this like night gallery Twilight Zone thing was a man had bought into a company to have a live-in maid service nanny replacement, you might say, for mom. He was widowed, and he somehow bought into this program to have this woman show up who wasn't really a woman, she was a robot. And she was helping him with his children, and they were against her because she was the mother replacement. Then ultimately, something happens where she's trying to help one of the kids or do something, but she gets hit by a car. And then you can see everybody, they're appalled at their behavior, and they're distraught. But what happens is, in moments, she comes back to life because she's a robot. And then you see the end of the family unit, which seems to be happy. Now, this has many observational lessons in it, such as a man-wife relationship, who's controlling who and what that really means, how a mother figure fits into the purpose of family. It could also mean like having more respect for mother figures in the family. Also, there is no death, just one life after one life. Two, the whole idea that someone looks to be in flesh and blood, but they're not. They're wires inside them, and yet there's a human component as well, which I will lead to, so many. Have you ever heard, like, when you're going through a line, any part of your life, oh, it's the computer, whack, whack, it's just not behaving correctly. Well, computers, blah, blah, blah. And we all do it once in a while to our phones and whatever. However, since computers were made by man, and man-made DNA, just by touching it, is in the computer, then computers and laptops and phones, everything, they're alive. They are alive, and I always thought they were alive, just like talking to your car and treating it well. Okay, that's even a whole nother talk, right? So I wanted to throw out those movies and stuff like that so you would think about these times and how it's all fitting together, this big play, and how we're beating and breaking the matrix. For current events, you may know that the good military is positioned everywhere throughout the world to watch, just in case. I don't even like saying just in case or you never know, because to me it seems like, no, you know more than you know. You are a divine being. But in order for this play to finish out, even with all the people that have already been arrested, even with whatever's going on, what we're being fed is that through intel sources, and those who have intel sources, is military is in place regardless to watch and execute the plan, because nothing can go wrong. As there was a podcast I listened to, most of it, maybe 15 minutes out of 17 minutes or something like that. It was a repeat. It was from Eagle Foundation. He has some really good facts. I apologize, I can't remember his whole name, but he's usually in there on YouTube, and he sounds like he's a digital warrior that does a lot of his own research. He was missing something about the Vatican and Italy, Italy and the Vatican, connected to those Dominion machines, and who was the last piece of paying anybody corrupt. And so I thought the Vatican had gone down quite a long time ago, and the Pope was always arrested and gone. But they're playing out this part where the Pope is arrested. The Vatican is now controlled by the white hats, by the good people, and there's a lot of information that Congress on the 6th did not want to pay attention to. And so the true colors of those who wanted to harm us as people who are not way high up in government, or just regular folks just trying to get along with harmony in the world. You have to wrap your head around this. This has been going on for 3,000 to 6,000 years, this sort of wheel of manipulation, infiltration, little by little, so that ultimately we become a blood planet. We would become a mindless sheeple planet where evil, I know it's not far-fetched, but evil, like Satanists, people who just love, like they would, it sounds gross, the pedophiles, they'll have sex with children. They'll be, their fantasy will be fulfilled, but then the children become food, or become more ritual, or they become implanted to mind train other children in preparation, and people in preparation of this demonic planet that we were had a timeline to become. Okay, that's even a whole nother story. I'm just throwing out there food for thought, folks. Food for thought. Because we've all had some little or big epiphanies in our life where we say, God willing, look, you are part of God, and God wants to know what you want. Your angels want to hear us. They want to hear me. They want to know what you want to come in and help us even more clearer, more better, more solid, more in alignment. So I'm giving you all this information to help you as you take a look at the current events and you're going along, that you go, okay, yeah, that kind of feels like, well, how was that so weird? Why would they lie? Well, just take a breath and think about how we're all connected without not even knowing. Human beings, generally speaking, we want to get along. We want to be nice to each other. We want to be caring. That's my take on it. We truly do. Now, sometimes, we're in that brief hiccup where we're like, get out of my face, or blah, 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 in traffic, or your mother's yelling at you, or someone's like, they know how to pick at you. And you just had it after several breaths. You cannot take it anymore. But that's part of the programming too, and us learning to become responding rather than reacting. It's really a practice. It's almost at first you have to train yourself, and it will become a habit to Respond and be more like a Yoda character or a Buddha character instead of going, I'm afraid I'm going to kill you and blah. But so those movies were on my mind last night, like 11:30. That those kind of snippets to share about how powerful we are, paying attention to the current events, paying attention to what's happening in your life, and then choosing best you can to go up or high. Now, here's what also happens when you're trying to change, even in little bits. So you get these new thoughts, you're getting these little epiphanies, you're saying, oh, Rita, there's something to what you say, but nah. And there's something to what you say, but nah, because I believe this. But you get these little epiphanies, and you're also trying to be a good person. Now, when you smack dab, fall down, and yell at someone and stuff like that, just know you're in your practice still. It's just that that programming and that reaction is so built in for years or embedded in months, or because that person triggers you because of that something that happened that was never discussed where they were so against you, and because they were role models, they just want you to see what they see. They're well-meaning, even if they're wrong or wrong for your viewpoint. They're well-meaning most of the time because they're so programmed. They want you to behave like that, them too, to become that them good person. You just hold the light for yourself. You just do best you can, and you'll notice more and more that you fall off that wagon of being mean and reactive. More and more, you'll want to stay to the higher timeline, the higher vibe of just like, well, okay, that person said that to me and I didn't like it, and I don't want to be mean back, and maybe I do feel hurt. I don't want to tell them off. I mean, maybe one day I will tell them off, this stranger, this person I know, but I don't want to tell them off. I really want to try to come from the place that I aspire to. And little by little, you do metamorphose into that because also we're being bombarded at this time on the planet with lots of light, lots of invisible helpers, and lots of goodly godly. Now, if you don't like Trump, it's okay because we all like people, a lot of people we don't like or don't understand. But even go back, why don't you like Trump? Just even research it. Who told you that you liked them, that you didn't believe him and what he did? Are you just believing it because they said on the TV? Are you believing it because I said it? Are you believing because your mom, your friend said it, and they said it, your group said it? Because you have a right not to like anybody you don't like. But take a look. The fact is, the Democrats as a whole want the communist China to be in control as a whole, not all Democrats. The Republicans as a whole want a higher timeline of what will be, I got this in my eye, GASARA, which will be no IRS, no Federal Reserve, US Treasury backed by gold. Our money will change. It will look totally different. It won't have the symbols on it that got twisted to manipulate our mind. Anyway, so you got to understand the Trump plan was in plan for a long time, a long time. Somebody said 20 years, and I think it's been more than 20 years. I think it's been since the assassination of John F. Kennedy Sr. Anyway, beyond that, again, 3 to 6,000 years of history we have got to live in. And I know people have different points of view because they're Christian and just got a little Facebook thing, and I get it, I get it. But this is what you're gonna find. There are other people out there. It's just giving you information and us all. If we're wrong, just laugh after or whatever. But if you come from a place where I'm Christian and this is it, remember, remember, there's more to what's going on than what we've been shown. But even from all military intel that I study, there are med beds in their coming that a lot of science has been withheld from us. And the med beds that I know of come in three parts, like for rejuvenation, for growing back parts, and for healing disease right in our bodies. Now, it doesn't mean they're your cure all forever. It means that they give you a jump start so you can start to integrate a new thought pattern to become a higher vibe self. So I still love the people who don't love me. I don't care. I'm gonna send them love and friendship. I don't even know if they're gonna want me in their house, and they're really cool people and everything. But the reason why we see different is because maybe they never had, ETs visit them. And I have. And I didn't know if it was good or not, but I know I got it to leave. I've also been visited by invisible helpers. So I have been visited by angels and I have been visited by the fairies. So I've had those experiences. I've also had really uncomfortable occult experiences that I would call naughty, evil, bad, scary, demonic, and I don't want any part of that, you know. So we've all had what we are synchronistic. And when people say, oh, God gave it to me, of course, because your alignment for your words, your prayer, your thought, your affirmation was allowing for that good and great for you. I want that for you. Absolutely, more and more and more. People say God willing, but the fact is that the name of God is Yahweh in Jesus, Christ in Jesus, or or Yeshua. Those are the holy original names. The King James Version of the Bible has been altered, and yes, you can be mad at me, and I love you so much, people out there like Yvonne and Ed and Ify, and I know there's people praying for my soul. That's okay, you can pray for me, that's fine. But remember, don't pray in desperation, pray in the white light, baby, from the angels. Um, but the fact is, and because you have to understand, you say you're Christian, but the Vatican's been so corrupt. The Vatican's been a seat of horror. The Vatican has been a seat of Satanistic connections and child sex trafficking. This is all going to come out. Whether it comes out in a week, whether it comes out in 6 months, it's all going to be there, and people are going to deny it. They're going to say, oh, my Bible. You have to understand the Bible is a duality book. Its words are powerful, and there are some words missing. Used for evil, you can turn those words around into power and make it your magic. You can turn those words into your heart and make them your magic, make them alignment with the goodness, godliness you want to have happen. Because our words, our affirmations, everything we say has potential to become, boom, reality. And now that the veil is thinner, I wrote down something and I don't know where I put it, just so to share because I wanted to remember it, and I'm going to look it up again. It was the word. It was the word abracadabra, which, if you watch the movie Harry Potter, remember the professor of the dark arts and certain with the warlocks and witches going some cases abracadabra, and so we associate that most of the time with something bad. But if you look up the gematria of abracadabra or the meaning, it actually means something like I can, I will, and you're bringing into manifestation. It's not necessarily bad. And 666 in Hebrew gematria numerology is life, and the number 18. It's just that, remember, in the fall of Cabal, the symbols will be their downfall. So I'm just saying, friends, be open. Don't lose your faith. Keep your faith and keep your certainty. But again, and sorry, Christians, throughout history, Christians have been known to be persecutors. This is my God, this is my way, so I have to let you go because you don't know what you're talking about. Well, that's not unconditional love. I think we're on this great big, if you want, open road cusp of deeply, absolutely accepting of what unconditional love can really mean and be. When you vibrate at unconditional love, you will feel it in throughout the whole of your body. It's a gentle knowing, a solid knowing. You just feel firm. Like it's almost like your spirit and your spirit and you're solid at once. We had this a long time ago, in 2012 to 2013, and then I haven't felt that complete. It's like from within your body to outside your skin and beyond, you just feel so amazingly solid in conviction. It's an amazing feeling. You don't feel like your human self. You feel like your high self. You feel like the self that you want to be always connected to and morph into what she can see. I know there was something else I wanted to mention just briefly. So when you start to follow certain channels, and again, I still recommend Simon Parks, Parkes, who has a lot of military intel, and Charlie Ward. There are some people for fun. When you look at Nicholas Veniamin, he interviews people. He's a very light spirit. He's very genteel and calmly. He's letting people talk. So spiritually raw, they're letting people talk. And Prime Minister, he brings on a lot of goodly, godly people. And he's a minister, and he's been really questioning, even when he prayed and he was wishing the evil to die, was that exactly the right type of prayer? He's growing, he's changing. So you're seeing people who are being digital warriors, leaders, giving you information. They're changing and morphing, and if they're truly goodness, they're letting their heart come open so that they can um, grow into the leaders that we all need on this planet, and that we are. There's other people to mention. I love Dolly Daydream because she's just talking, staying light and bright pretty much right now. And her new channel is Soul Odyssey Healing. Again, Magenta Pixie. She gets some really good, cool information. I think McCarthy. She had some a really nice prophetic information she shared the other day. There's so many channels to say. Some people who I don't get to anymore, I think I mentioned before, they've gone to more BitChute, they've gone to Parler, they've gone probably to Library, they've gone to MeWe. But once you start to research some people and just follow their thread, you'll pick up other people. Or if you go onto the show, Dr. Charlie Ward, or charlieward.com, he's on BitChute. You can also find him, I think, unless Facebook took him down, you can subscribe to that. There's just so many people. You can also personal message me at Ritza Elizabeth. I go by Coyote Heart too, but on Facebook I need to check that more. And then you're also reminding me that I just completed a journal and I forgot to put my bio and stickers in it. I did so much with the packaging and it came out really cool, but if I have to unwrap it and put those in, I've got to, because I want people to have my bio and stickers, and I'm going to do that. Also remind for the cards that I made, and I still need to do more. It's taking me a while. And one thing I made, I'll show you. I'll be right back. Yeah, I probably shared this, which is going to be on Etsy, and so that's my journal. It's really embellished inside cover, outside cover. It's got a rose quartz crystal pendant dangling from there that I covered, so you can actually wear it or give it to someone or take off the wiring. Just take wire cutters and snap it off. You can have it as just a rock to carry for. It's for healing on many levels. And I think in this next 10 years, there are people who've known about the power of the crystal, which again, the Earth's crust has 12% crystal. Your bodies have crystal. Our machines have crystal. All our devices, our phones, our laptops, our cars, all have, every technical device has crystal in it. So we are fully connected. Earth and us, our brains, the pineal gland has crystal in it. We're super connected. So that's why, we're connected to AI, not just because they are following us, but we're super connected. So this is reminding me to put the stuff inside. I said is missing the stickers and the file. So I made, whoops, I just stuck this on. So I got this. I have to find out what the property of this. I just liked the shape. It's a heart shaped, had a really good meaning. I got to go back to the store. It's not open today, but I got to find out what that means. And so I did a wire wrap, and this one, the smaller ones, I guess I'm starting to get a hang of. Let's see if I can get this in the right way for you guys. Sorry about that. This one was harder for me. I don't know why. Maybe because see, there's no like the other edge I had was, even though it was round, it was easier somehow. I don't know. I'm learning, but this is my pendant, and I don't think I wear it as a choker. So I had just stuck I do have, I'd rather put it on a cord, but I got this. I might do that. I don't know. Anyway, so right now I'm not really making these for sale. I'm just gonna wear it, but I might just start learning how to do some, because it's kind of fun, but This one, which I thought came out okay. I mean, I'm happy with it enough to wear it and feel proud. But this was like my third attempt because the wire was just giving me a hard time, and it bends easy, and then you got to keep rolling it through. I want to just leave you with something else my angels gave to me, and some of you do this already, so you're golden. So today, when I was meditating a little bit, I am supposed to pray or meditate 2 more times a day. Praying or affirmation to me is the same thing because it's time spent in mindfulness and thought to help people and yourself. So what my angels say to me is like around noontime and later in the day, I'm going to be shielding my chakras and saying a prayer, and I'll say that prayer and then spreading the light out throughout my neighborhoods and envisioning it throughout the land and the planet, round or flat. I'll just be envisioning that because, again, our energy goes out from our body and it travels. It never stops, and that's how powerful we are. So really focused and directed. We are weapons, and we need to know how to use ourselves. Well, this is triggering this other movie thing I saw, but I'll share that another time because there's two other things. So I'll just stay on track. So here's a prayer that was channeled by a teacher friend of mine a long time ago when I used to see her. And I used to love having channeling sessions with her because I was in college and I had to save my money, to pay her because it was a lot to pay $80 or $100. Even if we sat for over an hour and a half, it could be a good 2 hours because it was what it was. So it could be 2 to 3 hours even for her calling in the angels. And she was a person who brought people to Egypt to see the ancient sites and stuff. And that's a whole other story of power, Egypt and the gods, goddesses, rulers there, and our connection. Yeah, there's something I have to say about that, but I'll wait for another time. Just want to stay on track. So here's the prayer for you. It's very simple. What you would do, if you're willing, you would shield your spine, your spleen, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your forehead, and crown chakras. And this morning I said in the Christed white light. And you can use whatever visualization of light and protection you like. But it's like the healing presence of the Christed light and the color. And you can, even if you want to add the hues of the most divine, the violet flame. And I say also from the bottom of my feet and below my feet to above my head, because a lot of esoteric intuits, teachers, and I'm doing this along, they're saying there's more chakras because we have our astral body, and we have all these layers of light around us. Anyway, our own auric field, our own invisible protection field. But they were just basically saying, so shield all your chakras and surround them in Christed light. Or if those words don't work, surround your chakras in the most protective presence and light that resonates to you. And so here are the words. Holy, 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 Lord God of hosts. Holy, 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 Lord God of hosts. Holy, 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 Lord God of hosts. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity that God desires. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. So there should be about 4 lines there. You can personal message me if it's not. But you'd say those lines, each line three times. Now, if the word God seems to upset you, please say divine energy, divine source, universal intelligence, source energy, say Christed consciousness, say universal oneness, like Paul Wyrostek, who's an intuit channeler and teacher. He says universal oneness, which I think is kind of cool. Anyway, you never have to believe anything I say. It's just an offer, and it might help you in the long run. And besides that, in anything I'll ever give you will always be some seeds that would empower you if you would just breathe for a moment and see how it feels. You know your truth because your heart will tell you. The brain, the brain will try to process and do pros and cons, ooh, just in case. But your heart, your impulse to do something good, that's your heart. Even though other people aren't doing it, or it seems weird, it looks funny, you're the only one, your heart will lead the way, because the heart is the most powerful organ of the body. When a baby is being formed and the human baby is being formed, the first organ that's fully formed is the heart. It's a powerful electromagnetic magnetic resonator. Our brains also, well, we are as a frequency in this flesh, as Mark Atwood of the I think he's in Wales, or I mean Ireland maybe, and he says we are humans in a meat suit. His channel is about adventures in a meat suit on YouTube, and he's a very good person. I don't know if he always has all the best people around him. That's maybe my thing. That's okay. But he and his information is long. They have long discussions about different things, but he's a good person. Blessings to all of you. My little coyote heart just loves you. Please reach out to me at Rita Elizabeth or Coyote Heart on Facebook. You can PM me if you wish to. Only goodly godly. Anything that's really mean, an opinion's an opinion, but mean stuff, I'll end up blocking you if that's what you like, because it's whatever. You're down here, and I'm starting to go up here, and that's what I wish all of you to do. Your your um your latitude or your attitude is your latitude. So we got to just lift each other up in kindness, goodness, care. All right, I gotta go like put on real clothes and do a bunch of errands and get to my list of to-dos. I wish you amazing things. Talk to you soon.